I need the fastest way to improve my VO2 max because later this year, I'm gonna be doing an Ironman. I've done a whole lot of other endurance events that have involved strength, but I've never done something that relies so heavily on the heart and the lungs. So how are we doing this? Yes, we're just gonna do more cardio. But the most effective way is gonna be doing the most studied and researched way to improve your VO2 max, which is the Norwegian 4x4. For the next 4 weeks, I'm gonna be doing this protocol 2 times a week to see what gains we can make in my VO2 to take me from somebody who's just been doing a bunch of strength to somebody who actually can go out and potentially run a little bit. What is it? 4 minutes on, 3-minute rest for 4 total sets. Here we go now. We're gonna do the mile test for the 4-week 4x4 Norwegian test. Let's go out, let's go run it. First mile, 80% effort. We went 7:40, which is not a crazy mile at all. We've been doing so much strength endurance work over the past time and not just true endurance work that we knew it was going to be slower going into that. That's why we implemented this cycle. Now here's how I'm structuring it. On Monday, we're going to be doing Norwegian 4x4. On Tuesday, we are going to be doing a long zone 2 day, maybe 60 minutes on machine of choice for me. That's going to be out cycling. On Wednesday, we're gonna be hitting a strength-based session, focusing on keeping our body nice and strong. Thursday, we are back on the 4x4. Friday, we're on strength. Saturday, we're back on a long zone 2 session. Sunday, finishing it up with a rest. If we look at the volume throughout the entire week, it is not a lot of time that we actually have to spend working out. On Monday, we have 28 minutes. Tuesday, if we do a 60-minute zone 2, that's 60 minutes. All together, we have about 4 hours total of training. So how am I gonna track what my VO2 is over this 4 weeks? First one, we're just using Garmin. Starting off right now, end of March, my VO2 max is at 45. Norwegian 4x4 stems off of the idea of doing 90% effort for 4 minutes, then doing a 3-minute cool down walk, repeating it 4 times through. So our goal is to get our heart rate as high as we can. So using machines is going to be one of the best ways we can do that. Personally, for me, I can't get my heart rate up too high on a stationary bike. That doesn't mean I'm gonna not do a stationary bike for it, but I know there are better options for me, like running, fan bike, or rowing. Getting my heart rate able to redline or as close to redline as we can. So 90% effort of that day. When I was on the bike for the zone 2, I noticed a few things. If my heart rate was set at 0, on my first interval, my heart rate jumped all the way up to 150 beats per minute and kind of plateaued right there. On my second interval, we went up just a little bit higher, plateaued at like 157 beats per minute. On the third interval, I was at that 165 mark. And finally on that fourth one, we hit that 170 beats per minute, which to me is that 90%, that red line zone. So was this the most effective way of doing it? No, but it taught me something about what this bike interval did. After each stint, my heart rate dropped back down and dropped to about 115 beats per minute. But as that went, the same thing happened in inverse. We stair-stepped and went a little higher and higher. So as the time went on, we didn't recover as well, which then led to our heart rate compounding and getting that higher heart rate over time. Let's get into these next 4 weeks and see what it does to our VO2 max. The reason why this training protocol works, VO2 max is that aerobic threshold for your body. It's the max ceiling of your aerobic engine in which your body can take in and actually use oxygen. So the way this works is that 4 minutes is that perfect sweet spot. For that first 90 seconds, you're building up, getting to that range where we are close to that zone of your body having to push in, take in as much oxygen as we can. We sit there for the next 2.5 minutes and we try to hold on as long as we can. Then we're gonna rest. We're gonna active recover as we do. So we clear the lactic acid out of our bloodstream so that we can go again. And we repeat this 4 times over because we're not psychopaths doing this 10 times over. We're doing this 4 times over. And that's what studies have shown has been able to increase that ceiling because after we make progress every single time, we have that new breakthrough. So say my ceiling was here, but after I keep doing it, my ceiling rises and rises and rises. And that's what increases that VO2 max. Not everybody has the same VO2 max. Everybody's different of how much oxygen your body can intake and use, and we're training so that we can use more and more oxygen, which will then in turn make us a better athlete. At the end of the day, this will make your heart get better at pumping blood, better at using oxygen. But here's the deal. The reason why we kept zone 2 in there is a lot of endurance work comes down to your muscles being efficient with the oxygen they use. The bigger the muscle, typically the more oxygen they use. That's why you see marathon runners having almost zero extra muscle on their body, because anytime a muscle contracts, it uses oxygen. So the zone 2 training in there is getting our muscles in the localized area efficient at using minimal or the minimum amount they actually need. But the 4x4 program trains the heart and lungs to take in as much oxygen as possible. So that's why that pairing together just makes this perfect sense. So let's go see how it works over the next 4 weeks, and let's hope that we have some gains going into it.
First original mile time was 7:42. We just did a 7:03. That's 39 seconds off at the same perceived effort. We also had a lower heart rate sitting at 156 beats per minute. And that's a wrap. If you want to look at how I did the sessions, this is how I broke it up. I did 3 on a rower, I did 3 running, I did 1 on an assault bike, and I did 1 on a normal bike. So that is how I broke up. Breaking this down, was able to shave off that much time. Now I know these mile times aren't impressive, but we are trying to build the endurance base back to what it used to be quite a few years ago when I was running a lot more consistently. So there we have it. Let me know if you have any questions. Not to mention, if you want to follow all the training programs that I have that I put together, including this one, go check my website out. It has a complete docket of 1 million